Are you able to recognize or identify that person?
That is correct, my lord. It is Mr. Longwe Twala.
Bathe khona ke umuntu otshangakalayo kule video logqoke ke cap kena ke futhi nesikhindi sejini kena ke wathi ufakazi ngabe uyakhona yini ukubona umuntu loyo nathi yebo kunjalo ke uyakhona ukuthi ambone athi ulongwe Twala.
Can you tell the court how you know Mr. Longwe Twala?
Bacela ukuthi tshele kusenkantolo ukuthi ngabe umazi kanjani ke umnumzana uLongwe Twala.
I've met him, my lord, during the course of the investigation, and the last time it was when he was consulting with the state advocate at the DPP's office here in Pretoria.
Athi wahlangana ke ngesikhathi lesi kade besenza kusesha kwecala ke labo ke lapho ke futhi obewahlangana ogcina ehlangana naye wahlangana naye ngaphakathi komofisi abashushisi ke lapho ke la ePitoli.
The state is going to request that video footage be handed up as an exhibit, the Exhibit 8. Now, there's also on the video footage, there's a...
The state is requesting, we don't object to that, but the state needs to be very specific. Is this a provisional handing in of the video or what?
Well, my lord, we have already addressed the issues. It's subject to the footage being confirmed by Mr. Bailey.
So what is it, my lord? Is it a provisional handing or what? Because in law, we don't have something like, in the hearsay evidence that the state referred to, we don't have something like subject to. So we want to know if it's a provisional handing in of the video or what. That's all what we want to know, my lord. We don't want a lot.
No, as I listened to Mr. Baloi,
Yes.
the certificate of authenticity is going to be deposed to or to be handed up through the ages of Bailey. Am I correct, sir?
Yes, indeed, my lord.
That's how I understand evidence.
Yes.
Bailey is going to say, I am a coach of Kaizer Chiefs. I was there when Rata Mokhatleng lost his eye. That's all he's going to say.
Yes. Indeed,
Yeah.
my lord.
Video footage kusenkantolo yamukele la phambi kwayo njengofakazi noma njengombukiso ebufakazi.
So is it we want to know, is it provisional or final?
Well, my lord, it will be final once the authenticity thereof is confirmed.
Okay.
So if advocate needs us to use the word provisional, yes, indeed, my lord.
Okay, fine.
And it's also just shown on the screen.
Sorry, and Brigadier Gininda can be cross-examined on that.
Yes, yes, indeed.
video. It's evidence, although it's provisionally admitted according to you.
Yes. Right. Brigadier Gininda, there's also on the footage, there's a lady that's depicted there. Are you able to recognize the lady?
That is correct, my lord. That is Miss Zandi Kumalo.
Bathi khona ke video footage umnumzana uBrigadier Gininda khona ke usimama ngabe uyakhona ukumbona into esimama uthi ubani kathi yebo kunjalo ke athi uZandi Kumalo.
There's also a vehicle depicted on the footage. Are you able to identify the vehicle?
Indeed, my lord, yes. It is a vehicle that, it's a BMW X6 that was belonging to the deceased. It's his vehicle that he had then.
Bathe khona ke lapho ke imoto khona ke ngabe imoto lekhona uyibona yini athi yebo ngiyakhona ukuyibona ke lo athi imoto khona BMW X6 kade ke imoto ke kamufi ke leyo.
And are you able to comment regarding the movement or the gait of the person that you've identified as Mr. Longwe Twala?
Well, yes, my lord. He seems to be walking fine, contrary to what was put to me, that he may, or that where I was told that he was limping and there was a shooting and on the ankle. So that's what I see on the footage. It's not an indication of someone who sustained an injury, particularly a bullet wound injury on the ankle. I don't think someone would walk like that, in my view, my lord.
But uyakhona ukukhuluma ngendlela lomuntu ahamba ngayo khona lesikhanyiso sevideo athi yebo nakhona ukubona ke lapho ke athi kepha ke kunodaba la nodaba lokuthi mana nenkulumo abamtshela ukuthi lo muntu lakahambi kahle ke uyisikhwala ke lapho ke athi cha ayikho lento le mayana nendlela ufakazi abone ngayo lo muntu okhona le video lena ke athi umuntu oyihambela kahle ke futhi ongaqhwali uma ngabe ehamba.
As an investigative officer in this matter, are you able to identify the house where the footage is depicted?
Indeed, yes. That is the house, the 1335 Kutwano Street, the crime scene, my lord. That is the house where the deceased was shot, and that is the house that belongs to the Kumalos in Fostoras.
But mina nomuzi okhona ke lapho ke ngabe yakhona yini ukubona athi yebo ke ngakhona ke ukubona umuzi lapha ke eKutwano Street lapho ke number 1335 la umuzi womndeni wakwaKhumalo la kwadutsula khona ke umufi bese washonela khona.
And looking at the contents of the video, are you able to, as an investigating officer, to identify the occasion?
My lord, my understanding, although there's no date there, if one followed the sequence of the events and my understanding of the request that was put to NCA from the state side was that it was a request for the video or activities of the 27th of October 2014. That is now the day in which, that is the following day subsequent to the incident taking place, the murder now of the deceased.
Athi nana makule video lingabhaliwe ke langa layo lapho ke kepha ke athi mana nesicelo esenziwa ukuthi ocela ukuthi mana nokuhamba noma mhlawumbe noma mana nezinto ke ekade senzeka lapho ngelanga la 27 October ngomnyaka 2014 ilanga leli kade khona ngalo isigameko.
So based on that, my lord, I will put then the date of the 27th of October 2014 during the day, because one can see that was during the day and the incident would have taken place at night, according to the docket, my lord.
Athi lapho ke yena ngasho ukuthi ilanga la 27 ke le kade ngithule video leli ngalo ke lapho ke ngoba ke isigameko senzeka ngelanga la 26 ngesikhathi sebusuku futhi lathi kusemini ukuthi yakhona ubona ukuthi khona ilanga kade likhona ke likhanyisile ngaphandle kade kusemini.
And can you just maybe just briefly describe this person that you say is Mr. Longwe Twala on the video, the clothing, his appearance?
My lord, what I recall is wearing a jean, he's wearing a cap and a long sleeve, some form of a t-shirt. That's my recollection of what I saw on the video. And he seems to be walking, and he's walking actually quite fast than someone who will be walking slow or with an injury. He's moving quite fast on that footage, my lord, on that video footage.
Bathi cela ke ukuthi bawuprotect industry mana nesikhangiso ke salomuntu okhona ke ngaphakathi kwe video lena ke ukuthi ngabe mhlawumbe umuntu ogqoke inke lapho ke ingubo zakazigqokile athi umuntu ogqoke isikhindi sejini ke lapho ke cap kuyena ke futhi neskipa ke lapho ke iside lapho ke la ezandleni zakhe ke athi futhi umuntu oshakala ehamba ke ngogijima noma mhlawumbe ngokushesha ke futhi akahambi njengomuntu olimele.
The t-shirt, my lord, the long sleeve t-shirt, it has blue stripes, like it's blue on the arms and gray in the body, back and front, my lord.
Athi ke malana ngodaba lolu leskipa sigqoke nomuntu nakhe athi sinembala emibili ke athi la ezandleni zakhe umuntu esinombala oblue bese la kusona ke athi sinombala ogreen.
And the cap is black with white markings in front.
athi bese ke ikhepha egolile ke ikhepha lombala omnyama ke futhi baphe ngombala omhlophe la kulona ke.
That's the description of the clothing, my lord, that I'm able to see.
Athi izona ke ingubo lezi angakhona ukuthi sitshele ngazo ke ayibonayo.
Now, what would your comment then be on this proposition that has already been placed on record, that was put by Mr. Mngomezulu on the 28th of August 2024, page 11?
So is that now the proposed?
Yeah, we'll just show you the extract of the proceedings of the 28th of August 2024, page 11.
Bathe khona kusicelo lapho esenzela ngaphambi kokusenkantolo ke ngelanga la nge-28 zaka August ngonyaka 2024 phakathi kwenkulumo eqhamuka lapho ke kumnumzana uNgomezulu bathi manje ufakaza ngathanda ukuthi akhulume naye nodaba lolu olunkulu.
From line 20.
Bathi kumuqa kwamashumi amabili ke lapho ke.
You can maybe just, for the purpose of the record, you can just read that again in the record.
All right, my lord. So it starts from Mr. Mngomezulu. All right, let me put this version to you. According to those witnesses that I do not want to disclose at this stage, 3 shots were fired. 1 shot is the one that caused injury to Zandi on her leg. The other shot is the one that Longwe Twala shot himself on the leg while they were struggling for the gun. The third one is the one that shot Senzo Meyiwa, but I am not mentioning them according to the sequence of how they happened. I mean, all these 3 shots, they caused injury to Zandi. The one was stuck in the ankle of Longwe Twala, and the other one is the one that shot Senzo dead. Do you have any? Then it says intervene, my lord.
Ade efunda ke ubaba uBrigadier Gininda mara nodaba lonkulumo elasicelela lapho kumuqa was 20 lapho amashumi amabili ke ngelanga la nge-20 August 2014 lapho khona kade khona ke inkulumo ekhulunywa lapho umnumzana uNgomezulu athi all right athi kepha ngiyakutshela ke lenkulumo hlangothi lenkulumo ke ukuthi ke khona abofakazi ngeke abakhulume ngamagama noma abasho kwesikhathi lesi kade ekhuluma lenkulumo ngayo ke athi lapho badubula ikhathi ezintathu mhlawumbe amahlandla amathathu ke lapho ke ukuzama inhlamvu yoqala ke lapho ke iyona ke limaza uZandi lapho ke onyaweni lakhe ke bese ke enye futhi ke lapho yalimaza khona ke uLongwe ngesikhathi kade benquzulisana ngesikhathi esikade noma kade besukulisana ke ngesibhamu leso ke bese athi esithathu ke yona ke yadubula lapho ke uSenzo kepha ke thina akasho ngendlela isigameko esenzeka ngakhona ke noma izinto ezenzeka ngakhona ke lapho ke futhi waqhubeka washo khona njalo ukuthi lapho ke uma ngabe ekhuluma kanjalo ke akasho ukuthi lokho kwenzeka ukuthi ngalendlela akubize ngayo ke athi lapho ke khona uZandi walimala onyaweni lakhe ke futhi uLongwe Twala walimala onyaweni lakhe ke lapho ke bese ke lapho ke uSenzo washona ke athi ngabe uzwile bese bakhona phazamisana khona ke lapho.
Yes, my lord.
What is now your comment, having seen the video footage and the proposition?
Yeah, my lord, it doesn't correlate. If one, with greatest respect to the late Mr. Mngomezulu, if one has to take into account what he's saying, and one has to look at the video footage of the person who may have shot himself, according to his version, the previous day, it doesn't correlate. But it doesn't end there. Maybe you must explain. It doesn't end there, my lord. I'll narrate on the others.
Umnumzana uBrigadier Gininda mara nodaba lwenkulumo yaqhamuka ikhulumeka wasele washona kathi ngokukhulu kokuhlonipha lo sele washona ke babomngomezulu ke mara nenkulumo ekhulumile kulolu daba lolu kade lusicelela la ngaphambi kungosenkantolo uma iqhathanisa naloko akubonile ke lesikhangiso sale video athi akahambisani futhi uzobuya asho izathu zakhe kungani kungahambisani athi lo muntu le video wathi nge-27 bese sigamisa nge-26 athi umuntu odutshulwe nge-26 angeke aze ahambe njengalomuntu ojenga la khona ngala.
Now, my lord, in this quote that I just read now, a mention is made of witnesses whom Mr. Mngomezulu says he will call. Now, insofar as the docket is concerned, and I'm basing this on the docket because I don't have anything else, it's the docket and it's the investigation. the people who were in the house with the deceased, all of them disposed a statement, and none of them says Longwe Twala shot himself while he was struggling with the deceased. None of them. And I'm talking about the people who were direct witnesses and with the deceased when this incident took place. None of them are saying something contrary to that, and none of them did not dispose an affidavit of what they saw on the day of the incident.
Athi-ke laba khuluma-ke ngabofakazi la angawabizile amagama wabo-ke lapho-ke umnumzane uNgomezulu ngesikhathi bakhuluma-ke inkulumo yakhe-ke lapho-ke kepha umnumzane uBrigadier Gininda uyakusho khona kokulandelayo kuwukuthi mayelana ngesikhathi sakhe senza-ke ukusesha kwecala futhi yaphenya athi okuqukethwe ngaphakathi kwedocket athi akukho lababhale khona-ke ukuthi umnumzana uLongwe Twala wayidubula onyaweni lakhe-ke ngesikhathi ade bejijisana-ke ngesibhamu-ke lapho-ke futhi athi bonkana abofakazi ade bekhona ngesikhathi lesi ade kusenzeka udlame lo ade kusenzeka isigameko phakathi kwalo muzi-ke athi babhalile-ke iy'tatimende zabo futhi nabo ngaphakathi kwey'tatimende zabo-ke athi le nkulumo le yakhulunywa umnumzana uNgomezulu athi ayikho ngaphakathi kwey'tatimende zabofakazi ade bekhona ngaphakathi kwalekhaya nakwakhumalo.
And that, my lord, include Mr. Longwe Twala himself. His affidavit speaks of the intruders, not him shooting himself or fighting with the deceased.
Athi futhi lokho kuhambisana nenkulumo eyakhulunywa-ke umnumzane uLongwe Twala ngesikhathi lesi kade ebhala-ke i-affidavit yakhe-ke lapho-ke athi abantu abadubula lapho-ke igebengu yena akakaze asho ukuthi mina wayidubula onyaweni lakhe.
Now, the closest people closer to the witnesses who were inside the house, my lord. And when I say people, I'm referring to the witnesses who then witnessed some commotion during the commission of this offense are the Ngashes who were next door, who were the next door neighbors of the house. That is now the Ngashe senior, and in my recollection, it's his son. Even then, my lord, nowhere do they say they saw this commotion. And I'm moving from the point of witnesses, because what I'm struggling to find, my lord, or to make sense of, is who will this witness be? Because the people who were inside the house, none of them are giving this assertion. The neighbors, and that is now the Ngashes. And once I'm done with the Ngashes, then I will go to the people who were sitting outside the house, who saw people running out, and I will go into the issues of Makaleng without having to repeat my evidence, my lord. None of them are making this assertion except to give an indication that there may be intruders. Now that makes it difficult for me to understand as to where will these witnesses now come from, because everyone that was closer is accounted for, and they are giving a version of intruders, my lord.
Athi-ke lapho kuma ngabe qhubeka nenkulumo yakhe khona-ke abahlala eduze nakhona kwalo muzi lana-ke lapho-ke athi lapho-ke udaba lwabo-ke lapho-ke udaba lwabo labahlala eduze komuzi wakwakhumalo-ke lapho-ke athi umndeni akwaNgasheke lapho ubaba khona futhi nengane yakhe-ke lapho-ke athi nabo abakaze bakhulume ngale nkulumo yakhulunywa lapho umnumzane uNgomezulu-ke noma bahambisane nenkulumo yakhe ayikhuluma lapho-ke athi nabo lapho-ke labo-ke bathi wangena-ke lapho-ke igilamkhuba mhlawumbe igebengu-ke lapho-ke ngesikhathi lesi kade kusenzeka udlame lolu noma mhlawumbe ngithi isigameko ngesikhathi kade senzeka lapho-ke athi futhi uzohamba mayelana nodaba lofakazi lobu anabo-ke ngaphakathi kwedokhethi noma ufakazi owabuthola ngesikhathi ade sesha icala leli-ke lapho-ke athi ngesikhathi kade athatha ama-statement wabantu labo akukho labakhulumile phecelezi ngale nkulumo le umnumzana uNgomezulu akhulume ngayo-ke athi futhi uma ngabe ekhuluma ngabofakazi bakhe-ke lapho ngabe abobani-ke abofakazi labo kade azama ukukhuluma ngabo lapho umnumzana uNgomezulu-ke ngoba abanye ade bekhona ngaphakathi kwalo muzi lana ngesikhathi kade kusenzeka-ke ngithi isigameko lesi-ke yilaba yena akhulume ngabo athi ibona ama-statement wabo futhi bonkana abakaze bakhulume ngale nkulumo ubaba uNgomezulu awayikhuluma.
Further to that, my lord, the blood samples of blood that was found at the crime scene, because subsequent to the shooting, the forensic team were called, that is now the LCRC, insofar as the managing of the scene. Now, blood that was found at the scene, after the analysis, what we have, that blood is linked to the deceased. There is no indication that there is a blood that is linked to Mr. Longwe Twala, or rather a blood of a person that is unknown who may have shot himself. I mean, if one look at, for example, the position of where the deceased was shot, he was shot on the chest, but his blood was found in the scene. If one looks at the narrative or the version that has been given by the late Mr. Ngomezulu, Mr. Twala shot himself on the ankle. So for me, logic dictates that that is closer to the ground. So some blood would have been found, particularly that he was around here for quite some time, including the killing of the statement. But there is no blood, my lord, that was found of the crime at the crime scene, which indicates that it belongs to Mr. Longwe Twala, or it belongs to an unknown person if it's not in the database, in the database, my lord, of the forensic team.
Athi ke lapho ke ngesikhathi ngemuva ukuthi kwenzeke lapho ke isigameko lapho ke kwakukhona abantu abafika ke lapho ke abantu baqhamuka lapho ngaphansi kwese forensic lapho ke yilaba abathatha imizimba noma mhlawumbe ufuna ukuthi kukhona ke lapho ke athi abantu bakhona ke khona ke igazi abalithatha ke lapho ke ngesikhathi ukuthi uqeda uthatha igazi lakhona ke lapho ke bese bahamba kusha ama test wabo lapho ngesikhathi kusha ama test ke lapho ke kulolu gazi abalithola ngaphakathi kwalomuzi ke kuyigazi lelo bantu balixhumanisa ke negazi lakamufi ke losele washona lapho ke futhi yasho kanje ukuthi umufi wamdula wadutshulwa esifubeni sakhe ke lapho ke wathi manje malana nenkulumo kababa uMngomezulu awayikhuluma yena ke ukuthi olukuzana uLongwe Twala wadutshula lapho ke onyaweni lakhe ke bese shuthi inyawo lakhe inyawo lomuntu vele seduze ke nalaphansi ke manje kuza njani ukuthi igazi lakhe lingatholakali kule ndawo lena ngaphakathi kwalomuzi ngesikhathi kade senzeka lapho isigameko futhi nangesikhathi ade beyohlola lapho kabakaze basho ukuthi igazi lakalongwe nomhlanje igazi lomunye ke umuntu ke lapho ke athi manje lokho kuyamdida ukuthi kuza kanjani ukuthi wabongumezulu kakhulu ukuthi lapho ke lokhu akukhulumile mali nodaba lokuthi uLongwe Twala wadutshula naye ngesikhathi ade kusenzeka lokuphikisana kwabo noma kade besukulisana ukuthi isibhamu lesakade sihamba kanjani kuphinde le ndawo.
My lord, what we also have is that, and I'm pointing these issues, I don't want to prolong because some of these issues I've placed them on record, my lord, so I don't want to be seen to be repeating my evidence. But what we have also in the investigation that we uncovered is that after the incident, Longwe Twala drove the VW Polo, that is red in color, to the hospital. As much as I'm not a doctor, my lord, but the difficulty I will have to understand is how do you drive a vehicle using your feet with injuries. But what we have is that vehicle was driven from Fostores. It ended up in the hospital, and there was a movement of it driven by him. But even then, my lord, taking it further, at the hospital, there is no indication of people who were there or someone coming up and saying, I saw Mr. Twala, he was limping, or the doctors tried to attend to him because they saw an injury. There is no such assertion, my lord, and that is where now the medical assistance, I think for someone who's been shot, might have seeked. Or even if it doesn't seek it, I don't think nurses who are actually trained and mandated, to attend to such, they will see somebody with injuries because there would have been blood. That's, for me, that's common sense, my lord. And they just leave him. It doesn't get attended. There is no such statement of anyone making such assertions. But even when I went back later, when this assertion was given, to try and get records as to whether was Mr. Longwe Twala treated by that hospital, and statements are given. I think I dealt with them, my lord, in the docket. There is no such record, my lord, at that hospital.
Ade futhi lapho ngafuna ukuthi mhlambe ave amoshe isikhathi lapho ke kepha uma khuluma ngapheceleza udaba lakwalongwe Twala ukuthi yena kwadutshulwa lapho ke athi kumdida ukuthi uLongwe Twala kwahamba lapho ke ngesikhathi bashayela ke VW Polo ke lapho ke eqhamuka kuleli khaya lela ngemuva ukuthi kwenzeke isigameko lapho ke ehamba esibhedlela ke lapho ke athi ngesikhathi bafika esibhedlela futhi kuza njani ukuthi umuntu olimele abese eshayela ke imoto lapho ke futhi ulimele uziqhwala ke lo sakalimele kuza nje akhone ekuthizeni ashayele umuntu ukuthi agcine efika esibhedlela futhi ke athi futhi ngesikhathi kade senza ukuphenya kwecala lakhe ngemuva ukuthi bakhulumele enkulumeni nakhe athi ke wahamba lapha esibhedlela ezama ukuthola noma esesesha noma ephenya ukuthi ngabe uLongwe Twala empeleni nangeqiniso wayelimele yini ngesikhathi sakhe lapha esibhedlela athi futhi awekho amanesi awamtshela lutho ngodaba lolu futhi azikho statement ezabhalwa ngelutho ke malana akunalutho olukhona oluqukethe udaba lolu futhi sikhona lapha ama statement abonesi ke lapho ke athi futhi mangabakade kuziqhwala futhi alimele futhi ephuma igazi ke nakho onyaweni lakhe ke athi abantu bokusebenza esibhedlela bebangeke bangamniki usizo lokuqala bebangeke bangamnaki ke bebezomnaka bese bamnikeza usizo ke lapho ke athi naye kepha wadidwa ilenkulumo ekhulu lapho kumnumzana uNgomezulu ukuthi uLongwe Twala alimele kepha athi ngesikhathi baseshikhala lakhe lapho ke akunalutho oluqhamukile noma oluvelile olutshengisa ukuthi uLongwe Twala kade alimele.
Brigadier Gininda, the vehicle that you referred to that was being driven by Mr. Longwe Twala, the tracker records thereof have been handed up before this court. Do you remember if the tracker movement show if he returned to the scene on the night of the incident? on
Ma-
the 26th of October.
I think you may have, my lord, in my recollection. And what I do recall is that the tracker report, if you follow the movement of the car, and that is why I'm saying I know that the investigation revealed that he was driving that vehicle. It's in line also with his cell phone, going to the hospital, back, and I think going to the side and side of Malbatin, Woodland Vista, where they slept, and then him coming back again on the 27th. The following day, and I think that was the day when they were making statements. Still, even on the 27th now, we're moving now from the date of this in 27th, he was still driving the vehicle. And on this particular day, statements were taken from him, Mr. Longwe Twala, and it was commissioned by the police. Nowhere do even the police say, this man came to give us a statement, he was limping, and they saw something unusual. Statements were deposed, commissioned by the police at the police station, but there's no such utterances. This is now the following day, my lord.
Bathi mina nodaba lakuneseka ke le moto ethishala kumnumzana uLongwe Twala athi khona ke udaba lama tracking record usihlola phansi ke kwemoto la ihamba khona ke lapho ke athi yebo bayilethile ngaphambi kwenkosini enkantolo bathi futhi izahambisana ke nocingo lwakhe usuthi la kade tracker ibe khona yemoto futhi ucingo lwakhe nalo kade lukhona ke lapho ke uma saxhumanisa sebabhekeka lapho ngaphakathi kwama cellphone towers ke lapho ke athi ngesikhathi lo Twala ke beka ngemuva kwesigameko athi kukhona la wahamba khona kusolala khona ke bese athi yena ke ngelanga ngethu mhlawumbe khona ke mhlawumbe kwenzeka ukuthi zeni ugcine futhi kuyele emuva kulomuzo okwakhumalo noma kulomuzo wesigameko lapho ke athi ke bakhona laba balala khona ke athi khona futhi udaba lola ngafisa ukuthi alikhulume lapho ke athi istatement sakalonge Twala ke sathathwa abeze siphoyisa noma amaphoyisa ke ngelanga la nge-27 zaka October ngomnyaka 2014 ke lapho ke athi futhi bese istatement sakho commissioner amaphoyisa ke lapho ke athi amaphoyisa uma ngabe kade uLongwe Twala bekalimele ngokwempela nangeqiniso beyavele bazobona ukuthi yebo lo muntu lo ulimele bese lapho kwazama ukuthi babhale phansi bese bamsizeke lapho ke kephathi mana nodaba lestatement sakhe akukho la babhalile khona ukuthi kade alimele noma kade kuyisikhwala ngelanga leli bakaphisa noma babhala istatement sakhe.
In the extract that you've just put on record, names of certain medical practitioners are mentioned. Have you followed up that proposition?
Yes, my lord, yes, we followed it up. One just will have now to go back because I dealt with it the last time I was here, my lord, but we followed up. I think Dr. Mbatsane passed away in my recollection. But insofar as the hospitals that, other than the private hospital where the deceased was admitted, the close by hospitals, also no record could be found. Dr. Mbatsane, I think in my recollection, my lord, passed away, and then, but there were no records that one could find to support such. The unfortunate part is that the doctor that was referred to then, he had passed on, my lord, so I couldn't interview him.
Bathi mina nodaba loluke labasebenzi abasebenza mhlawumbe ngaphandle esibhedlela mhlawumbe amanesi lapho noma odokotela ke ngabe khona yini wakuthola athi yebo khona ke wakuthola xa uthi mina nodokotela uphathani umbathane lapho ke kepha ngocabanga ukuthi ucawula inhlanzisele washona ke kepha umufi bamthatha bamgijimisa kwisibhedlela private futhi isibhedlela simele ke lapho ke athi ngesikhathi beka lapho ke akunalutho olutholile phecelezi ngodaba loluke bese wahamba kwibhedlela ezikhona ade sikhona eduze ke lapho ke shuthi izibhedlela zikahulumeni athi nakhona ke akunalutho owalithola ke elitshengisa ukuthi uLongwe Twala kade alimele.
Thank you. If we can then just move to another topic, and that is the aerial photos. My lord, we just beg leave to hand up these photos as exhibit ZZ in brackets 1 more. We'll also show them on the screen. Now, Brigadier, when were these photos commissioned? The aerial photos?
According to the date, my lord, they were commissioned on the 19th of June 2025. The time it's 09:35.
Bathi khona ke ithombe lezi bathanda ukukhuluma ngazo ithombe lale ndawo lapha eFosloras ke lapho ke bese umshushi bacela ukuthi kusenkantolo ithole ithombe lezi manje sebamithulele zona ke kusenkantolo futhi zikhona lesikhangiso lesike kade yibuza ukuthi ngabe ithombe bathula ngaliphi ke ilanga athi ngelanga la nge-19 zaka June ngonyaka 2025 bese isikhathi lapho ke imizuzu ewu-35 ngemuva kwehora la ka-9.
And the commissioning officer, my lord, is Johann Hendrik Frederick Ras, He's a warrant officer from the National Crime Scene Management, my lord, here in Pretoria.
bathi ke umuntu wakhomishina ke lapho ke usebenza lapho eLokozana bani
Johan
athi uJohan Hendricks Fredericks
Ras.
Ras usebenza ngaphansi kofisi Pretoria ekhulu.
Who took the aerial photos?
They were taken by warrant officer Monakedi.
bathi ubani othobe ke ithombe lezo wathi warrant officer Monakedi.
Now, Brigadier Gininda will recall that Advocate Nisi, in his cross-examination, put it to that accused number one, that you met accused number one at a secluded spot in Foslo-Res.
bathi ngesikhathi ke mnumzana Brigadier
I never said a secluded spot at Foslo-Res. I never said that.
At Gold Spot, in Foslo-Res, and that on the 5th of June 2020, he was taken to the same spot before the pointings out were made.
bathi ke umnumzana uNisi khona ke inkulumo yakhuluma lakho wena ukuthi yona ke ngesikhathi kuhlangana ke nomsoro oqala hlangana ke la engajwayelekile ke lapho ke engasiwona lapha eFoslo-Res ke lapho kuthi ngelanga la nge5 zaka June ngesikhathi enhlanu kwesibili ke nabe afuna hlangana kwindawo eyodwa.
Yes.
That's another misnomer.
Yes.
I never said the gold, at a secluded area at a gold spot. That's a misnomer. I never said that.
As a court, please, my lord. We'll deal with that proposition. If you can just deal with that proposition in light of the aerial photos, starting with.
No, but this is an objection. I am being misquoted. The state cannot say, okay, we'll deal with that proposition, but for now, let us deal with that one. Because state does not have to put an assertion to this witness where I am being misquoted. State must specifically tell this witness what I specifically put to him.
As a court, please, my lord. The first proposition, my lord, Brigadier Gininda testified that he met accused number one on the 30th of May 2020 at the parking area in front of the police station. Now, Advocate Nisi then joined issue with Brigadier Gininda. Well, the first proposition was that he met him at a gold spot in a complex that consists of the traffic officers department, the municipal offices, but later on during the evidence, the proposition was then sort of qualified to say it was at a secluded spot or an obscure place. My note that I have here, my lord, is that especially with regard to the pointings out on the 5th of June 2020, says accused says from Villeria after being booked out at 8:01. He says he was driven in the Qashqai Nissan, and that it was Mukhani, Ngamani, Bongani, and they were accompanied by traffic officers. From Villeria, they drove to Foslo-Res, where Brigadier Gininda found them with Sergeant Mukhola. At the parking of police station, they assaulted him to pressurize him to agree to pointings out to be done later that day. So this is the same spot where he was assaulted on the 30th of May 2020. And it is an obscure place. This is my notes that I have, but the original proposition regarding the 30th of May, and that should be on record, that he was taken to this golden spot in the, where the, as I mentioned, there are these buildings, traffic department, the municipal area, and Brigadier Gininda then said that this proposition, is being watered down to a certain extent when he gave an explanation. But say this is on record, my lord. The record will speak for itself.
As it is the court, my lord, my only concern is I do not want to be misquoted on what I put to this witness. I am therefore imploring the state to put to their own witness what I put to him.
My lord, perhaps just to avoid this debate, do you remember what the proposition of Advocate Nis was in this regard?
Indeed, my lord. So my recollection, my lord, of the proposition, because we went forth and back on it, my lord. The first part, and because there are two versions. My version, and that led to the proposition being put to me, was to indicate that I met accused number 1 on the 30th of May 2020 at Phosphorus police station, the front parking, and that is where I said I met him and the interview took place. Now,
Athi-ke ufakazi manje nenkulumo le kade ithimba ubabaloka mbuza ngayo ukuthi ngesikhathi ngelanga lange-30 zakaMeyi ngonyaka 2020 la wahlangana khona-ke hlangana kokuqala nomnumzane uSibiya kukuphike nendawo athi ngesikhathi ukuhlangana kokuqala-ke kumhlangano wabo nomnumzane uSibiya-ke lapho-ke lapho phambili kusakhiwo sesiphoyisa sase-Phosphorus lapho kuma khona-ke imoto athi ngemuva kokuthi ahlangane naye khona-ke lapho-ke athi kaqala khona-ke inkulumo.
Now, my recollection, my lord, is that now fast-tracking to the day of the pointing out now, it was then put to me by Advocate Mnisi that accused 1 was booked from the police station taken to the same spot. Okay, no. Maybe before I go there, my lord, if I can just have a minute, because I want to marry this thing together. The first proposal, my lord, of the 30th, that is the day when he made a confession, and so that is, we didn't dispute, we didn't argue on that part, except as to whether when we left there, did we first go to Ereton or went to Diepkloof police station. The contention or the point of difference was that, according to accused number 1, he was taken directly to Diepkloof police station, and as said, we didn't, we went to Ereton first, and then subsequently, by Constable Monitoring, then he was taken to Kenel Mboto. So that is now, that deals with the issues of the 30th of May 2020.
Athi mina no mamelana negama ekuzenzeka ngelanga lange-30 zakaMeyi ngonyaka 2020 kuwukuthi lapho-ke bathi lapho ngemuva bathi abahlangane khona-ke lapho-ke ngemuva ukuthi benze i-confession lapho-ke bahamba baya-ke lapho-ke eDiepkloof athina cha bakaze bahambe be-Diepkloof-ke naye-ke lapho-ke kepha baqala bahamba baya lapho e-Ereton athi la bahlangana khona-ke nomnumzana uSergeant Mbotho-ke lapho-ke.
And my lord, since we're still on the 30th, I just want to refer Advocate Mnisi to the proceedings of the 3rd of June 2025, page 46, and the following is on records. It's from line 5. So Advocate Mnisi, at some point they then took off an off-ramp that, according to the township of Phosphorus, are we together so far? Then Advocate Mnisi at line 9, thank you. Now, as they drove with him, remember this time you're still not there. As they drove with him, they drove to some municipality area that is known around that place as a golden spot or as gold spot. Apparently, it is a complex that houses the police station, the municipal offices. There are also offices of Home Affairs there, also traffic offices there, but it's just a complex. Then they drove to that spot or that area which is known as Golden Spot. Then line 20. Now they then went to a parking there, was next to the police station, where he then got ordered. He cannot remember who ordered him to alight from the motor vehicle, and he can also remember he can also remember whether it was a specific instruction that he should sit down or not, but he ultimately ended up sitting down. And page 47, line 2 now. Again, they started to ask him about the death of Senzo, and they said to him, still he was not prepared to tell the truth about what happened and the involvement of the Buthelezi brothers. And then it says, around that spot, as he was seated down, one of the Metro Police then put a plastic bag, a plastic over his face and pressed his back forward, or the back part of his body forward, so that he could not fall when they pulled that plastic bag over his face. That is the portion that we are referring to, my lord. And if Brigadier Gininda, you can then comment using the photos to that proposition and the allegations that he was taken to the same spot on the 5th of June 2020 before the pointings out.
Yes, my lord. Yeah, but what I want to clear, my lord, perhaps, is that the spot that was mentioned, and that is where I wanted to go to, my lord, that I said we met at the police station. Now, according to the version of accused one, through Advocate Melissa, of course, he said the vehicle went to the municipality area that houses these different structures, including the police station. And my response then, my lord, was that this cannot be, because the police station is independent from this municipality. And we went on, obviously, to the issues of the assault. And I want to go to this critical point where I said, where I met the accused, it's an open parking, and the photos will clearly indicate the one in front of the police station that is wide open. I will not understand on the 5th, particularly because the pointing out was done during the day, that how will the police assault someone there without being seen? That is where now the assertion of saying, and I recall vividly, my lord, to say, but police officers are not stupid, they will not assault him openly. It was a hidden spot where they took him, and that's what led to the pointing out where Advocate Minister said, no. After talking to accused number one, he doesn't understand this place. Then we need to have not a pointing out inspection in logo. It was coming from that point of saying the place where he was assaulted, contrary to where we met, was obscured or a hidden place. That's my recollection, my lord.
And that's an objection as well, my lord. I think the state, the witness and the state are busy misleading the court. And so far as this, the witness says, Brigadier Gininda, I said I put him to him, that accused person said that then the motor vehicle in which they were and then drove around and went into. I never said that. I never mentioned a motor vehicle driving around. I said he was taken to. And the state has just read an extract of what I put to this witness. So I was hoping that the state, through that extract, will correct what I was calling me being misquoted, but the state does not do that. And it is there on the record.
Yes, Brigadier, I think just to avoid this back and forth, just comment on this proposition that is on record referring to the photos, the aerial photos.
Okay, my lord.
Bathi manje sekelo udaba lolu ukuthi sihambe sesibuye emuva lapho ke kuthiwa becela umenza Brigadier Gininda akhulume mayelana nodaba olukhona ke kule ithombe lezike ukuthi ngabe mhlawumbe angafisa noma ngathanda akhuluma athile ngey'thombe lezi ezithokozana lapho esikhangiso.
If you can just orientate the court on the photo starting with page photo. How many photos are there? Just put that on record.
26, my lord.
Bathi ngabe zingaki iy'thombe ey'khona lana kathi zi-26.
But if one also, my lord, look at the third page, this is now starting from the front, the covering letter. The second one is actually the statement of the photographer. The third page, my lord, it's a key to photograph. So in other words, it described specific, although I will indicate what I recall and what happened on the 30th, my lord. But the key to photographs, in other words, what the photographer says during this aerial exercise, it's actually written there, my lord.
Athi lapho ke amakhasi lawo ke awuhlolisisi kepha ke ikhasi lokuqala lesibili ke lapho kulaba bhala khona ke inkulumo nje elokuzana ehambisana nodaba lweli ithombe lezike athi kepha kwikhasi lesithathu kulaba bhala khona ke ngokukhethekile mayelana nezithombe ezithize lezi futhi bayichaze khona isithombe lesi sisho lokhu bese nalesi sisho lokhu athi uzositshela kabanzi ke ngazo ke uma ngabe sesetshenziswa zona ke isikhangiso esikhona ngalana ngaphambi kwenkantolo.
Yes.
My lord, so the first photograph number 1, it's an aerial overview of the police station. It's a bit far, but as we move along, it will get closer and closer, you know, for more visibility. But from the distance, one can see the parking, and that parking is the one in front of this police station. But on other photos, we will be able to see a much more closer look, and one will be able to indicate as to where I met accused number 1 and where I met him, in front of the police station, my lord. But basically, in short, it's an aerial overview, and what I see is the police station is the parking, the building next to it is actually the court, and as you go further up, this is now towards your right-hand side. That is where your municipal offices will be, the shops will be. That is now, you'll be moving to the direction of the N3.
If you can just use maybe the pointer to indicate where the police station is and different points. Yeah, you can take the
Bekakhuluma khona njalo ufakazi lapho
the microphone.
athi mana nodaba losithombe sokuqala ke lapho ke sibakhuluma ngaso ke lapho ke sikhona ke la ngaphambi kwenkosi enkantolo mhlawumbe lemibukiso ithombe ezikhona ke lapho ke athi isithombe sokuqala esikhona ngalapho ke isithombe salapho ke Fosloras kepha ke isikhumulo samaphoyisa sase Fosloras athi sise asifelile kahle ngokugcwele lapho isithombe sokuqala ke lapho ke athi futhi khona ke parking ekhona ke la kuma khona ke imoto futhi zebonakala lapho ke athi kepha uma ngabe sesigciniza kabanzi kodaba lwethombe ke athi class ubona khona nodaba loloke ukubuka lapho esandleni esokudla lapho athi khona ke inkantolo futhi aduze police station athi khona inkantolo ke uma oqala lapha inkantolo kukhuphuka njalo kumgwaqo sehale phezulu lapho ke athi la khona amabhilidi ka-ofisi kamasipala lapho ke athi uma hamba ngomgwaqo lo khona njalo lapho khona nomgwaqo omkhulu kathela kawayenga sukuqo ka-MK lapho.
Now, my lord, the parking that I'm seeing relating to the police station is this one. This is the portion. And this main road.
Sorry. Just mark it with your pen. You may number it 1 because it's the first issue which you identify today.
Yeah.
The next issue which you identify, you put 2, just like that. Because if you do it with a laser, it will make sense to people who are looking at it here. But if it goes somewhere else,
I understand.
Then that's the right pen.
fine.
Yeah, Brigadier, maybe we can go to photo 3, which is labeled just to make it easier.
Yes.
Ecaucisa lapho kusithombe bakade qolifaka ukuthi lapha akaqapheke nezinto lezi akhuluma ngazo ngaphakathi
From photo 3 onwards.
bese manje umshushisa
Up to photo 6.
ayi kusithombe sesithathu ke lapho kuqala kusithombe sesithathu kukhuphuka njalo sesine sesihlanu sesithupha ke.
So photo 3, my lord, is already indexed. Photo 3, this is now on photo 3 under index A. It's already marked on the photo. It indicates the hostel opposite the police station, and that's my recollection of this place, because I did mention that opposite the police station there is a hostel, my lord, and that what is contained now.
Isithombe sesithathu mayelana nodaba lweindex olukhona ke lana ke athi sitshengisa lapho ke ihostel eseduze nesikhumulo samaphoyisa
And that would be this portion, my lord.
Athi yona ke le ndawo le kade asithengisa yona ke manje. Athi yona ke ndawo yakhona le hostel.
Which hostel is that?
It's not Pasutuni, my lord. I think it's a Mazulini, if I'm not mistaken. But it's not Pasutuni hostel that we spoke about. That's not that. Pasutuni hostel is further down.
Wathi manje ithi kamela le hostel yakhona ke lapho kathiwa akuyona ke basithini hostel esikhuluma ngayo ke nayo ngoba ibasithini hostel iseduze isekhelele isebheni kancane kanina. Akucathi mazulini hostel.
Now, B, my lord, indicates the phosphorus spot, and I know from here it's a little bit far, but the photos that will actually have a closer look, where I suppose the helicopter would have gotten closer. So we see this in a much more clearer and closer observation. And it is correct because that's my recollection that next to the police station from the main road, there is a phosphorus spot that is still there even today, and it was there then.
Anike lapho ke lapho shisa nake khona lapho lokuzula kabi lapho kathi inkantolo sephosphorus lapho kathi lekashilo futhi nesikhathi setufaka bakhe ukuthi inkantolo sephosphorus seduze nesikhulu samaphoyisa lezokhuluma ngaso ke.
Now you see no, same page. I just want to see C and D. C, my lord, refers to the police station and D refers to the municipality area. That is my recollection, but as I said, my lord, this is just the beginning. As we go along, these pictures will become clearer as the pictures, as they get closer to the buildings.
Athi lapho ke kuphuzula kasiye sibona kana nesikhulu samaphoyisa ke lapho ke kepha kuphuzula kagesi sibona ke amahhovisi kamasipala lapho ke athi kepha eduze atlantile bank isikhangiso lesike kepha uma sikhupha sisihamba sibuka ke izithombe la sibona khona kahle kahle ngagcwele ukuthi ngiyakhuluma ngayo.
Now, in this photo, my lord, this is photo number 4, yes. So, Birman Road, that is Mathematics Birman Road. This is the road that you would take if you go off or on ramp from the entry. If you're coming from Johannesburg, going to the Phosphorus, this will be the off ramp that you will take. If my recollection, according to the assertion of Advocate Nisi, if I followed him correctly, when he said accused was put in the car, my recollection is a Ford Ranger, and he saw November 3, and he took the off-ramp, the Phosphorus off-ramp. If that is how I recalled him correctly, then when you take the entry off-ramp, you will be then coming up this way, because entry is further up, you take it, you go off, you turn right, and then you'll be going up, passing the the buildings that I'll talk to until you get to the municipality area. And then subsequently the court and the police station.
Umgwaqo lona ngidinga ukuthi abantu umgwaqo ukhanga lapho lokukhumana umgwaqo omkhulu kathela kawayela lapho ku-3 athi wantu ukhumana umkhamba lapho ke egolile kushika lapho eJoburg lapho ke athi uma uhamba usaya lapho ngasephosphorus athi wona umgwaqo oxhumanisa nephosphorus yona ke okhanga lapho ku-3 ujolele esandleni sokudla lapho ke athi ungena khona futhi usivela nezakhiwo lezi kade ngikhuluma ngazo futhi athi unyunga kulezi lapho khona ukuthi umnumzana usiphila wabona lapho ke u-N lapho ke sithi u-N kumele uNovember ngokwenyanga lezo kusho i-N lapho ke athi wona umgwaqo lokuxhumana naBirman Road.
And one can see clearly, my lord, if you're looking at this Birman Road, you will see further up, there is marked N3. That N3 is the national highway that goes straight to Devon, that is if you're driving to Johannesburg and vice versa.
Athi lapho kuma ngakukana na phezulu kwawo bona ukuthi khona umgwaqo omkhulu lapho umgwaqo kathela kawayeka lapho usho entry umgwaqo lo ke uma ngabe usushaya lapho ngekubhulu useke lapho eThekwini athi umgwaqo ovame uthola umsebenzi wonke lapho uma khamba eThekwini ukhuphuka usiya eGoli athi umgwaqo osetshenziswa abantu ke lapho ke umgwaqo ka-N3.
Now, F, my lord, is a taxi rank. If once you've taken the off ramp, driving towards the shops, the municipality area, the court, and the police station, you would have then passed the main taxi rank. It's on the left. We will also see it closer as we go along. And that's the main taxi rank I've spoken about. But subsequent to this, there's a mini one where you find the small cars they just stand on the robots, call them up and I refer to them. But the taxi rank, the main one I refer to, that this is the one. It's structured, is built properly for taxis, the bigger ones.
Athi lapho kule point kuphuzula la athi lapho khona ke iland athi le land yakhona ngathi ke kuzona evaluation imali amatekisi la makhulu lapho ke athi mangakungena ngalo mbaqo lona ke kula ujwayele ukudlula khona ke kuze le taxi land yakhona ke athi khona isangitsokulele lapho ke yaphathe khona ke iland nje incane lapho ke evaluation imali lapho into encane kusho ukuthi ke amaphela lapho ke uma yabona igama lakhona.
Now, my lord, before I get to D, I want to deal with E because it flows correctly from the entry. Because remember the entry is here, my lord. As you come down with this Durban Road, this will be the taxi rank. There's some building structures that you will find here, but before that, or just after that, E indicates the shops next to the municipal area. So I want to start with E, then I'll go to D because you actually find E first, as when you're moving from the direction of the entry, you will find E. Then D, according to this marking. So it's the shops next to the municipality area, moving to the direction of Katlohong, Fosoras police station. Then you will find the municipality area, then the court, then the police station. But we're going that sequence. So I'm starting on E instead of D, my lord, because E comes before D, according to the positioning of those buildings.
Athi uthola khona ke izitoro eziningi ezahlukene eseduze nesakhiwo lesi samahhovisi kamasipala lapho ke athi futhi uma uthola umgwaqo omkhulu kathela kawayeda kusho entry ke lapho ke athi kungena ngesambelisi noma ngomgwaqo oxhumana ongena lapho eFosoras khona ke njalo uxhumana nomgwaqo omkhulu kathela kawayeda athi ka uthola khona ke lesakhiwo sezitoro kusho shopping complex lawo abantu bakhona mhlawumbe benze khona ke imali yokuthenga lawo shoppisha khona.
Now then D, my lord, which is now here, D is now the municipality area, and this is the structure that has a number of buildings, and at times it used to have even the local metropolis. It has its own entrance, and once you go into that entrance, you have to exit. There's one way in, there's one way out, and it houses the municipal areas, and there's some offices which I will not know what they are. But that is the structure that you will find in municipal offices, and it's marked as such, my lord. In that structure, or that building, or that enclosure, my lord, there is no South African police building in there. This is simply a municipality area. It's not connected to the police station. You cannot drive in there and end up at the police station. You go in, you go to whatever office you go to, you need to drive out into this Durban Road and turn right. That is if your intention is to go to the police station.
Athi ke kuzwele kathi athi sona ke sakhiwo lesi samahhovisi kamasipala ke la khona ke athi ukuthi sike kwaba khona ke la kathi sakhiwo lesike athi umungena ke lesango mhlamba sisango lingapha ke athi uzophuma ke lesango lingapha sathi uzophuma lesakhiwo singapha ke bophuma ngalana ke la ungena khona ngoqoqela ke imali road ke la khona ke athi futhi sakhiwo sakamasipala asikhulumele ngesakhiwo senkantolo futhi nesakhiwo sesipholisa isakhiwo sakamasipala ke isakhiwo nje simela athi futhi khona amahhovisi kamasipala ke akhona la ngaphakathi kepha ngeke abe nesiqiniseko ngokugcwele ukuthi iwaphi ke amahhovisi akhona ke ngaphansi kwesakhiwo sakamasipala.
Yes, if you can just go up a bit more, I want to see this in arrows. Yes. So my lord, we've already indicated that B is still far, but we will get closer to go along. That is the Fosoras court, and then C obviously is the police station. But the importance of it, my lord, although it's still not clear, we'll get it clearer pictures. This is the main road that comes from the entry, which is further up. So one will see that from the entry, if you take the off-ramp, you'll be coming down this way. You'll be passing the taxi rank, these structures. There is another structure you will see clearer. The municipal offices, which is here, it's independent from the shops. Here is it. Then coming to the court, and one can see that the court is independent from this building. Then you go down to the police station, and one will see later on the clearer pictures, my lord, that the police station, even in the demarcation, my lord, in terms of the wall, it's a standalone building. So you can never mistake the police station to be in the structure or the center of the municipality.
Athi lapho uma ngibuka lapho iphuzulu lakabili la lapho 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 Ati futhi impela isakhiwo lapho esiyimele sodwana futhi asiphumele nesinye isakhiwo lapho-ke. Athi uma soza futhi khona-ke iphumela lasiphi lapho-ke athi isikhumulo sezipholisa sakuzana esosoka-ke futhi naso-ke isikhumulo sezipholisa nakhona-ke esiyimele isakhiwo saso asiphumele nesakhiwo esikhonakala sasenkantolo futhi namahhovisi kamasipalata lapho-ke kepha akucacile phakathi emthombelezi ukuthi lezi zakhiwo ziqhumene kepha khona umgwaqo okhona-ke lapho khona i-agreement yokuthi yathola umgwaqo oxhumanisa umgwaqo omkhulu lapho-ke ka-N3 olapha phezulu nendawo-ke lapho-ke athi umthombelezi acacile phambi kukhanyile nomhlawumbe athi vele lana azikhanyile iy'thombelezi-ke kepha-ke uma sesiqobo sesihambisa phambili athi khona nasibona khona-ke mana phecelezi nodabalozi lwey'thombelezi la kache khona-ke ibhange.
Now, my lord, insofar as the place where I said I met him on the 30th of May 2020, when he was in the Red Court, driven by Sergeant Mukula, it will be the parking here, because the police station is just this building. So in front there's a wall, there will be, which we will see clearer later, there will be a pedestrian crossing, next to it there's step, that's where the vehicles drive in. So I met him right at the entrance in the police parking, but there are pictures, my lord, which are very, very clear, and I'll be able to show the court exactly where we met.
Mwanza tufakazi uma ngabe sikuqala nakule ndaba abekele khona le highlight yakhe khona lapho-ke athi yona-ke yona picking ekhona lapho khona-ke imoto athi lawahlangana khona-ke nilanga lenyaka 2020 ngesikhathi-ke hamba umoto kumuve ngeshaya lapho sajeni khona athi uma sesiba ney'thombe ezinefihle eklasi ubona khona-ke ngocacelipa kahle kahle umhlangano wabo wokuqala bahlangana kuphinde yena-ke nemenzana.
So God, please, my Lord, will this be an appropriate time to take the long adjournment?
It's 2 minutes plus 1.
Okay, come on record. Oh, okay.
Ngiyacela umshushisi ukuthi manje inkantolo ikhuluma ngamanye sami sokuthi ifike ukudla kwasemini sisabela ukuthi ke ngiyafana.
Okay, 2 o'clock.